This.
There we go.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast, episode 193. I am your host, Peter Nikolaidis, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, Adam Bell.
That's me. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm also doing well. I'm glad that you're back into the 50 original United States of Americas.
As opposed to being in the 51st.
Yeah, well, in the province of
Yes. Well, you know,
the landmass of Puerto Rico.
here's the thing to put a pin in too, is to see how is Puerto Rico similar and different, similar to and different from Washington D.C. There are similarities, you know, they're territories, protectorates, etc., but they're not states.
No, they're not states.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I had some interesting conversations with people when I was in Puerto Rico about them wanting to be their own country.
Yep. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess some of them want to be their own country and others want to be a state, you know. So I don't know. I forget their I was at one point familiar with the differences between, you know, like how they are distinguished from states, like, you know, where they can and can't vote, but they can pay taxes and they have this and that. And of course, when, you know, the hurricane hit, our former president was like, yeah, we don't need to help them. You know, it's another country. And it's like, it's not supposed to be how things work there, buddy.
Yeah,
So,
it's as long as it's a U.S. providence, we have, or it's not a
protectorate.
province. It is a
Protectorate.
Protectorate. You know, we
Yep.
have responsibilities and duties.
We have responsibility to protect it. So, there you go. So what's new? We've been out of this for a little bit because I've been traveling. You were traveling, and what else happened?
Yeah,
Is
let's
that
see.
it?
So, nothing new has happened since my wife broke her arm. So I mean, yeah, she did that.
Right.
But she's
Yes.
recovering now. She's had surgery. She
Ugh.
has a little metal plate in there and 4 screws holding it all together. It had 5 fractures. Good times.
Ugh. Ugh.
So she's recovering. It's hard to. I mean, she's still in pain. I mean,
Yep.
not like excruciating pain that
Right.
makes you cold sweat, but it doesn't feel good. I mean, she can't use it because it hurts.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, in the grand
Well,
scheme of things, it's okay. Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I can relate to, you know, can't do things because it hurts, because my shoulder has been acting up again,
Mm-hmm.
and as is evidenced by my lack of participation doing my daily push-ups. Um, but I did, literally just before I got onto this call, hung up with my physical therapist, so I will see them Monday to start a new series and see what we can figure out what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. So when do we qualify for AARP? Because I mean, isn't
On
it like
paper, I
50?
already, yep.
Yeah.
Sooner than you would think. You don't have to be a retired person to be a member of the Association of Retired Persons there. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh man.
Our podcast is going to go from, computers and athletics to aches and pains and surgeries.
I
And
think we've already been there, haven't we? I mean, oh boy. So, um, what else is new here? I've got yeah, so I have pretty much decided I will not be running an ultra marathon this fall.
Okay.
I was toying with that idea, and then I realized that the one that I was planning on running or thinking about running is only 3 months away.
Ah,
And I have not really gotten back into the swing of training and stuff since my last marathon a couple months ago. So I think maybe I don't want to dive right in. You know?
mm-hmm.
So I'm going to hold off.
So I do have some questions for you about your trip to Puerto Rico.
Ask away. Let's circle back.
Let's circle back. So where did you go?
Old San Juan,
Old
the
San Juan.
capital. Yep.
And what were you doing there?
Just a few days away. Just vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Did you get on the water?
I did. I got on the water one day on a sailboat,
Mm-hmm.
and I got in the water on another day and went power snorkeling.
Power snorkeling. Okay, what is
Power snorkeling.
describe power snorkeling for me?
Power snorkeling is where you have a little battery powered impeller where you hang on to it
Mm-hmm.
and it pulls you through the water.
Okay.
And it's pretty slick.
Yeah.
So I will put a link into the show notes to the exact make and model that we have. Pretty cool little thing, depending on where you shop for it, and it's anywhere from like $450 to $700 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty slick. It's the brand that we had. It's Sublu, Sublu,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing is called the White Shark.
The white shark.
And yeah, it's about about 1.5 feet, 2 feet wide, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking it probably weighs, I don't remember, maybe like 15 pounds or so. But of course, when you're in the water, it just kind of floats.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, actually, all right. Well, it says its weight. Okay, the weight is 5.75 pounds, but the battery weight is another 2 pounds. So it's
Okay.
only 8 pounds. Okay,
Yeah.
so 8 pounds is pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great little toy, and you just get in and it can pull you up to, I want to say it was like, was it 5 kilometers per hour, 1.5 meters per second, and they say it can dive up to 40 meters.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's you can use this for some so for scuba stuff if you wanted. We were
Mm-hmm.
just snorkeling,
Yeah.
but no, it was a lot of fun. And like my girlfriend and I were thinking about it, like, should we get some of these? And she's like, we should look for these on Amazon. I was like, yeah, that'd be great, but where would we actually use them? Because
Yeah.
I do have beaches around here in in Massachusetts, but they're not great.
Mm-hmm.
So, like it's, I don't know. I'm afraid that that's the kind of thing I would just buy it and,
Molder
like
away
never,
and the battery would die and it'd dry rot.
pretty much, like I was thinking about it, like, okay, up near my folks' place up in Vermont, there's a lake. But yeah, I don't know. So,
Mm-hmm.
but still, I think it's a cool toy for sure.
Yeah, I've seen them. I've never used one.
Yeah.
I'd like to give it a try. I'm typically going out snorkeling with a group, so I don't
Hmm.
have a lot of freedom of doing my own thing. I
Right.
mean, you'd have to have it with your buddy, but then you'd
Yep.
also have to be doing a special thing with the group. And if I'm with a group, I don't like to do special things. I don't like people who want to do special things. We're all here in a group. Let's do the group thing. And then if you want to book yourself a special trip where you can go freewheel it, go for it. But
Do it. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, if you're trying to do special things while we're, doing our thing, it's kind of annoying. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, and the other thing from, well, you guys just snorkeled, but they have those full masks that come all the way around your face and you're able to just breathe. You don't have, I personally would like to try one of those, and I don't know why people don't use more of them. Because I know anytime there's like a special on National Geographic where there's like
Yeah.
a star that's going, like Chris
Yep.
Hemsworth
Hemsworth.
or
Yep.
Hemingway, whatever, Hemsworth,
Chris
what
Hemingway.
Chris Hemingway, whatever, when they have him or somebody else doing special, they put those masks on them and they're able to, oh, this is
Yep.
awesome, and you,
Yeah.
you hear them
That would
like,
be, that's a good question. I have to think cost is part of the factor, and they probably are harder to fit your
they probably,
faces.
yeah, they probably are. I mean,
Mm.
but really, snorkeling or scuba diving, it's a gadget sport. I mean, it's like, computers. I mean, we buy all kinds of gadgets for it. So, if you're a scuba diver, you want the watch that's connected to the regulator. So it's pointing, giving all that information real
Yep.
time to you. And
Yep.
you get done with your app. You don't have to do your logs.
I
So,
did use my Apple Watch
yeah,
with the ocean band.
yeah,
Yep. So I went down, I think I went a total of 11 feet down.
nice.
So
So I
But
did,
yeah.
I scubaed with mine, and we talked about that when I came back from
Hmm.
uh, wherever I went, Seychelles.
Hmm.
And I had improperly reported that my dive was lost. My dive was not actually lost, even though it told me to record and finish by putting it back in water to zero out. It recorded all the dive. I just
Okay.
didn't realize the data was in there until I went through, like, I forget how I found it, but I was like, oh, there's my dive information. Awesome.
Good.
So it did record it.
Excellent. Good
So
job,
your
Apple.
dive will be on your watch.
That's a good question. Now, is that going to be show up in the fitness app or in the health? Where does that show up? Where did you
I
find it?
think it shows up in fitness, but I can't remember
Huh.
now because that
Okay.
was February. But I did
Right.
want to, I kind of threw some shade there, but it got it. It's probably
All
overrated
right.
by now, but
Well, should keep it, I would think. Yeah, if it translates off the dive, I mean off the watch.
hmm
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in my workouts though. I'm just scrolling real quick here. Sunday, Monday, Saturday, an outdoor walk, an outdoor run, a walk, a run, functional strength training. No, I'm not seeing it in the fitness as a workout anyway. So I'm not sure where it would be. But hey, I'll dig. I'll see where I can find it.
Go. All right. So, did you? Well, you're only on the main island, quote unquote. You didn't go over
Correct.
to Vieques or any place like that.
No, we stayed, right in the capital city for
hmm
this, other than obviously going out sailing. So,
Good food.
um,
Get you
good
some
food. Yes.
plantains, fresh seafood.
Had mofongo and yes, had some really nice ceviche. Saw a flamenco show, which was
Yeah.
awesome. Yep. So yeah, really good. I have not yet written any of my reviews on TripAdvisor or Yelp, but I will. But yeah, I had some, great. There was this little diner. We went to one place twice. In general, if I'm only going to be in town for a few days, I like to try to mix it up and try
hmm
something new every time. But on our first and last day, we went to the same place for lunch and had just this mofongo and rice, and I was happy. It was
hmm
it was really good. Had a nice little Airbnb. Didn't realize until the second day that it did have air conditioning. I thought it was just fans. So
Whoops.
we were we were a little hotter the first day than we probably had to be. My girlfriend, she's from that area, so she didn't complain.
hmm
Me, I was sweating bullets and I was not happy. so, so but no, it's fun. I got to see like a lot of the forts. I went for a few walks and runs around the periphery, just seeing all the giant walls. They basically turned that island into a fortress, which is pretty awesome.
hmm
And there's this I took a bunch of pictures. There's a place where there's like a little rescue society for cats
Uh-huh.
just near the governor's mansion,
Okay.
and it's like a known thing, like people go there and they'll leave food out for the cats, and as you walk along this trail that goes around the whole the shoreline, there's this rock I came to, and one day I went out at night once and I was just seeing cat after cat after cat, and then there's this rock that's just covered with cats. They're
Uh,
all just lying there, so, hanging out, and a lot of them are really skittish, and others were really friendly. And then the next day, we went out there for a run, and I counted over 30 cats.
oh wow.
Yeah, so this shelter basically just they have them all. They're just so apparently a bunch of them just stay close there because that's where they get their food and stuff. So I was like, that's adorable because I'm a cat person, Like, yeah, dogs, they're cool, but really I like cats better. So,
hmm
I had lots and lots of kitty pictures. So I was very happy.
Cool. Yeah. And then you said you saw a flamenco show.
Flamenco show, yes. That
So,
guitarist was amazing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I studied classical guitar in college and I played some flamenco.
Ah,
hmm
okay. Well, yeah, we
I
saw the guitarist and the dancers.
hmm
My girlfriend was wowed by the dancers. I was wowed by the guitarist. So, I
hmm
don't know what that tells you.
You appreciate the effort.
Yeah, this guy was really talented though. And apparently, he was, I think he said he was 82 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on the Ed Sullivan show
Oh wow.
back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did
um,
he did he do any tapping? I mean, tapping to do percussion as well as play?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he even did a whole thing where he said, like, this is how they play the guitar in Mexico. This is how they play it in Colombia. This is how they play
Mm-hmm.
it in Argentina. This is how they play it in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
And gave like a little history lesson. It was good. Not only like talented, but educational too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, very good. The yeah, let's see. I think I had one other question. Oh well, I lost it.
Well, one
I
more
was listening.
commentary. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. Another commentary I have though was it had almost everything that I liked about Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
and it had all the modern conveniences and reliability of the states.
Of the US, yeah.
So I was just like, and prices were really affordable.
Really?
So, yeah, well, for someone from Boston, yeah.
Because we went there right before the last hurricane that really hit them hard,
Yeah, Maria.
Maria, and it at that time that was the most expensive vacation we had ever taken.
Huh.
It was nice, but we also went to Vieques, so we took a small plane over to Vieques. We did the bioluminescent bay
Yep.
tours, and so we did lots of things, and we went to this restaurant. I mean, it's a beautiful restaurant. We got there the first night, and it was up on the cliffs looking out at the ocean, and it's just a beautiful place, and they had seafood first night. I'm like, yeah, I want seafood. And they said they had the stuffed fish, and it was at market price. So I was like, okay, well, I kind of figured market price. I'm expecting a $40 or $50 fish. It was like $180 for the fish.
Ooh.
It was a stuffed, it was fantastic, but it wasn't $180 fantastic.
I was gonna say, how fantastic was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I mean, it was stuffed. I don't remember everything it was stuffed in it at this point, but it was really good. But I mean, if I were going to pay $180 for a fish, I would be expecting an experience. A charitable donation is a portion of that.
Definitely includes the tip. Right?
Yeah, some really special location that's very difficult to get into. But I mean, this was just a nice restaurant on the cliff. So I just wasn't expecting that. But it was like, okay, well, lesson learned. I should have asked what market price was.
Yes, market price. Yeah, what is the market? How's the market doing today?
Yeah. So shame on me. It cost me a little bit of money, but it was good fish. It was good environment. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy Puerto Rico. I do remember having conversations we did do zip lining and some things like that. And one of the guys that was a guide, but he was also in school to be a lawyer. He was talking about how, a lot of people in Puerto Rico want to be their own country. And I said, well, have you researched Belize? They're their own country. They left, they left England. Why have you, I would look into, the lessons that they learned, because they're now a second world country. They're not a first world country anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, there's, I like Belize, and there's freedom in small government, but there's also responsibility then on the people to maintain the law, maintain the roads, maintain, all the infrastructure. You the people have to maintain that stuff.
Hey, I mean, so there was a movement about, I don't know, 20 years ago or so when Vermont, they said we should have Vermont become an independent country.
Mm-hmm.
And of course Texas is always like, oh, we could leave the union. We're like, yeah, good luck with that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Texas would love to leave the union.
I think a
They
lot of the union would love Texas to leave. So yeah.
I like Texas. So, well, cool. So what else we got? So,
What else? Should we pivot into technology?
yeah, why not?
One thing before we go, have you ever looked at Captain America's uniform?
Nah, yeah, not in, I mean, I know it's red, white, and blue. I know he has a shield with a star,
Yep.
and I think it's strongly in blue, you know.
We'll leave this as an exercise to the listener, but go look at Captain America's uniform and then go look at not the United States America's flag, look at the Puerto Rican flag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Puerto Rico. Okay, taking a look at that. So the my oldest daughter's car, she
Yep.
has had a Nissan Altima. I got upside down in that stupid car in repairs. I paid like $4,500 for that car, and I put $12,000 in repairs into the stupid thing. And the reason that I made such foolish decisions like that was that her car was in Louisville, and she's in Louisville and the transmission's broken up there. So my only choice is get a new car, sell that car, do whatever I need to do with it up there, or repair it up there. But if I'm going to get it repaired in Louisville in a town that's not my town, I've got to go to the dealership. And if I'm taking it to the dealership, I know I'm spending more because the dealer costs more. So I did that for the last few years and, got upside down with that. And finally it broke down again in April. And I said, forget it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to buy her a new car to her. So we bought her a new car. And so I've been driving the old Nissan Altima. I was like, well, it's good enough for in-town driving and it gets better gas mileage than my truck. But I'm not spending another penny on the stupid thing. Well, it got to where I could not drive it over 2,000 RPM. Didn't matter the speed.
Ugh.
So as long as the engine was under 2,000 RPM, I could go as fast as I want if I could work through the gears.
Okay.
So I said, enough with that. I'm getting rid of the thing. I called carsforkids.com and within 24 hours, that car was gone. They came with they came with a flatbed truck back, took it, hauled it away. So I mean, what took the longest time was I had to go to the bank to get the title out of the safety deposit box and sign it and send it on its way. So if you ever need to get rid of a junker car, the carsforkids.com worked out well.
I did something like that too. I forget who I donated my my Subaru back before I got the Tesla. And it was a similar situation. It was like, yep, come get it. Flatbed truck showed up and hauled it away and it was gone.
Now I gave, our van, we gave that to a family from church that, they were a younger family with a bunch of kids. But it wasn't broken down. It was old, but it wasn't, it had plenty of miles, but it was fine. The air conditioning worked, radio worked, doors, locks, it all worked. So yeah. Oh, cool. So there's a little tidbit on if you got a junker car you got to get rid of. There's a good way to go. And then so I've been in the Apple ecosphere now for a little while. So I've got my cell phone, I've got my laptop, I've got my iPad, and then I've added the Apple AirPods here recently, and I've added the Apple Watch.
Okay.
And the thing that I'll have to say is that I am pleased at the interconnectivity between all of the Apple devices. I never had any experience like that with Windows devices. maybe, you know, I've never spent time in the Microsoft Surface world. So, but I don't think they have anything equivalent to all that gear.
It's not as good. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So I've been pleased with it, you know, and it's easy. You know, I go to find my devices, I can find my earbuds. I can even find my single ear pod. I mean, it tells me where it is, it tells me where the case is, tells me where my key. Oh yeah, and I've got an air tag for my car keys. So, I mean, Apple knows all my business now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that dilemma. But it all works well together, and I'm, you know, kind of pleased with it.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I notice like right off the bat is I'm able to get when I don't have a Mac versus when I do, is I can receive messages on the desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's huge for me, getting text messages and not having to take my hands off the keyboard.
Yeah.
Some of the other features, the other one that I love is the shared clipboard. So being able to copy and paste
Mm-hmm.
across the devices, especially with an authenticator app where I still have to copy a 6-digit code, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being able to copy it from the iPhone and paste it in on the Mac is great.
Yeah.
So those are great, you know, and you know, having like file downloads being immediately available or, you know, close to real time available. It
Mm-hmm.
just seems to sync better. I haven't used Dropbox in years since I have, you know, like boycotted them. But it just seems to work more quickly and more reliably than OneDrive, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Although I have a OneDrive on all my devices too.
Yeah.
You know, shared clipboard is nice. Being able to receive a phone call on the nearest device, you know, whichever it is
Mm-hmm.
nice. um Pulling, you know, transferring a call doesn't always work as well, you know, moving from one device to the other.
Yeah.
Having the AirPods automatically choose which device to talk to, not so good, you
Mm-mm.
know. So again, I turn that off, works a lot better. But yeah, I mean, it's if you're completely in the Apple ecosystem, it's a nice walled garden to be in.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's you know, a lot of people I want to have all the control and things that I can do with an Android. I'm like, good for you. I don't
Uh-huh.
need to.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
just
say
don't.
you can have it.
Yeah, I just don't need to. I don't need to root it. I don't need to install applications that are not in the App Store. I don't need that kind of headache because I want my phone to work every time.
Yeah. I mean, I back when they first started jailbreaking the iPhones, I would do it. And then I don't remember when it was like around iOS 9 or so, they pretty much did everything that I was using jailbreaks for anyway, so I didn't
Yeah,
need it anymore. And plus, you know, you lose the security, you know, even to what extent you have it, of being within their, you know, again, that walled garden. So at least the App Store gives you some protections
yeah,
that, you know, you would lose if you know, had jailbroken the phone. So but yeah, I mean, I'm recording this on my Mac. Right next to it is my iPad, which I use as an extended screen for my Mac. And
mm-hmm.
right next to that is my iPhone, which I can't use as an extended screen, but it's like an extended microphone or camera or network connection for the other devices.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I've got an Apple AirPods Pro second generation. Oh, no, sorry. This is my first generation, but I did buy the second generation again. Back to that later. And I'm wearing my Apple Watch Ultra. So, yes,
Yeah,
I am fully. What don't. Oh, and I have an Apple TV downstairs.
yeah.
I don't have any HomePods.
No.
I don't have an Apple Car. I don't think I'm going to get an Apple VR headset anytime soon.
So I didn't even know about that till this week.
Oh man, you've been out of touch, man. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it looks pretty cool, you know, and there's definitely a part of me that wants it, but it doesn't want it $3,500 bad.
Oh, no, I'll just get another. I mean, no, that's the price of a MacBook Pro, and that's a good one too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, no. But you know, overall, I like Apple stuff. There's always some room for improvement. There's always things that I wish it would, you know, could do better.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find a lot of the annoyances, like the biggest annoyance I had most recently, you may recall, was the persistent Bluetooth issues
Mm-hmm.
with my AirPods. And it was just like, the call would get garbled like a transformer.
Mm-hmm.
Incidentally, I'm going to see the new Transformers movie right after this. But the call would get garbled for no reason. And you may recall, I did all the troubleshooting, you could possibly think of. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start deleting apps. And Scott chimed in, like, do you have the Alexa app installed on your machine? On your
Uh-huh.
phone? And I was like, yeah, because he was like, why do you have it? Like, well, you have to have it to control the stuff. He's like, try deleting that. And I had thought about it and forgotten about it because I
Mm-hmm.
realized when my phone would trip a geofence, the Bluetooth connection would skip.
Ah,
And apparently it was related to that, because what I did is I didn't stop it, but I revoked the Amazon Alexa app's access to my geolocation and Bluetooth. It's like those two things it doesn't need on a regular basis.
mm-hmm.
Since I moved everything over to HomeKit for all of my geofencing recipes, I didn't need Alexa for that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of that. Bluetooth problems went away.
Cool.
Yeah. So
I did have
there you
one.
go.
I did have one little problem. When I was in Belize, I had a firmware. Well, I had an Apple update that needed to run, and the Apple update was not getting enough bandwidth to run
Okay.
there,
Yep.
and it was it was trying to run. And what would happen is it wouldn't run. It'd reboot, and then it needed to finish, and I'd lose access to the touch screen, and that's a real
Hmm.
bugger. So then I
Yeah.
would have to reboot it again, and I could get access to the touchscreen, but then it would try to start downloading the update again. And finally, I let it run overnight, and I had to make sure it had internet, made sure it stayed close to the router, made sure it stayed powered, and it finally took care of itself. But that was a little problem when you're running on slow bandwidth.
Yes. Yep. Oh boy. So let's see. We had some other stuff to talk about.
Hey, there's a bunch of cats.
There's a bunch of cats. Yes, I put some pictures for you for the show notes. So I got a note a while ago that Zoom is enabling AI transcripts and summaries,
Okay.
but
Different.
but
Go ahead.
different from that third party extension that we had,
Mm-hmm.
read.ai.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen the ability to add it yet. So I wonder if it's just being rolled out to select accounts. I was wondering if you had seen that yet.
I have not seen that yet, but I also haven't been looking for it as an app, because I do have the paid for version of Zoom, so it might be there for me.
Okay. I have the paid version also, but I don't see the option in mine. But apparently if you want, I guess I was just reading beforehand, I was reading that if you want to have the feature enabled, you have to have regular recording and transcripts enabled. And if you don't have that, then you can email them and ask them to turn it on or something. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do. I still have that read.ai extension in Zoom. And I like it. I was in a meeting today. It went on for about 45 minutes, and I'll definitely, keep a copy of the transcripts and stuff, and look referring to that in my notes and stuff. So
Hmm.
I like it.
Cool. Yeah, I need to give that a go again. It just kind of took over. Well, I didn't want it to do notes on every single meeting, but then
Right.
I was like, why not? But then I do a morning meeting every single day on Zoom. I don't need transcripts on those. I wouldn't mind them on my TBRs though.
On your who? Oh, that, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Technology business reviews, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I guess, that's a kind of thing there, where do you default? You apparently defaulted to off and turn it on when you remember to,
Mm-hmm.
right? I guess I don't know. I guess I would be inclined to just turn it on and not forget. And if someone, you get a note every time, a very prominent note when it's being recorded,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not like you're gonna call in and say like, maybe we shouldn't be recording this phone call. You have plenty of notice to turn that off if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'll check that one out. Look like you're being you drinking out of your pineapple there looks like you are an advertisement for traveling.
Yeah, I felt like one too. And boy, I will say one thing about the Puerto Rican rum. They don't skimp on that.
Nah, that's good.
Yeah, that pina colada I had there was the strongest one that I had. And a day or two later, we went to a bar and just went out for a drink, because it was Sunday night, and of course, you party on Sunday night. Of course, they party every night, it seems. But my girlfriend ordered a Cuba Libre, right? Rum and Coke.
Uh-huh.
And she took a sip of it and she handed it back to the bartender. She's like, "There's too much rum in this." So the bartender had her sip some more and then poured more Coke.
Put more Coke in it. Yeah.
So,
better now?
yeah, exactly.
Keep working it.
Just keep drinking it. It'll get better. Yeah. So, I did sample the local beers. I had 3 local beers down there, include Medalla and Magna. They tasted pretty much like most lagers that I'm familiar with. I'm not usually a big old lager guy, so one lager tastes pretty much like another lager to me. So not really a great objective review there. But they were definitely drinkable. So I would drink again. So yeah.
Well, good.
And I think I mentioned I did go back to I bought the AirPods 2, the AirPod Pro 2, second generation. AirPod Pro second generation, because they were on sale again a while ago, and they were $200. I was like, sure, that's the best Black Friday price, and I don't think Apple's going to do a third generation for like maybe another year or so.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so I can get a solid year out of it. I dedicated my regular AirPods Pro to my Mac, so that's where they sit now, and they just wait. But the second gen, so they were on sale for $200. And then I found they were on sale for that, and they were Amazon renewed for $185. And then I found them at Best Buy for $180.
Yeah.
So I got them at Best Buy, got them. These were certified Geek Squad refurbished, which means we just stuck it back in the box.
Yeah.
They did not work reliably. Right off the bat, they had problems. And I was like, yep, typical Geek Squad. They didn't do jack. And I took it back to the store, and the manager had to ring it up to return it. And I told him, yeah, they don't work right. And I saw him as he was, reason, for the return, does not want.
Does not.
He didn't even, I was like, yeah.
Whatever.
Not my problem.
It's going to be somebody else's earpods now.
Somebody else is going to get the same one, and they're not going to work. And like, you moron. So I ended up getting them again from Amazon after all. But by that point, they were out of the Amazon renewed ones. So I got just the plain old new ones. Fine. Paid my $200. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like them. I do notice the noise canceling is a little better. But something I had realized, I only found out like last week. I think I posted this in the Signal chat, and this is regardless if it's first generation or second, I had never really shoved these things deep into my ear before. The noise cancellation is so much better than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I didn't realize. I thought that the Apple AirPods, I thought that the noise cancellation was okay.
Yeah.
But when I shoved it all the way in my ear, oh my goodness, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy.
My only complaint with them is that I can't, if I get real sweaty, then they have a tendency to kind of come out of my ears. They will eventually, and if I don't keep pushing them in, they will fall out. And so they're so expensive. I don't use them when I'm on my tractor or things like that, because my Jabras, they go in there and they stay in there, and they're kind of built to where they kind of fit in the ear canal. Even if they weren't like pushed in, they'd just kind of sit there in your ear canal, kind of the way that they're shaped. And if I go up in size, it hurts my ear after a while. The pressure, it just puts a little bit of, it puts enough pressure that I feel like, oh, it hurts. And then I, So I went back down to the original size that came,
Mhm.
and it's fine. I just can't be sweaty, and I can't be, I mean, I can't be extremely active. Like I can ride my lawnmower in my
Right.
yard. That's not a big deal. I can
Yep.
walk the dog. I can do things like that. But if I'm going to be on a tractor, that's going to be bumpy and really, it's not a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah. So since, I had those little $20 knockoffs there, the Cardines for a while, and they were
Hmm.
okay. But I've taken now to running with my AirPods Pro because I feel pretty confident about them. I won't mountain bike with them though.
Hmm.
That's one place where I think there's enough jarring, and if I'm moving at speed and I'm higher up off the ground going over a log or something like that, I don't want
Your
to
head's
lose one of
your
those.
head's tilting forward because I mean the way that
Yeah.
they drape down,
Yep.
gravity, it's fine like this. If you're
Yep.
if you're up like this, gravity's in your favor. Even if it comes out a little bit, it's not going to fall out.
Yep.
But if you tilt your head, whoop, oh
You might
no.
lose something. Exactly. So, but anyway, yeah, so with that revelation though, I'm happy again. All right now, knock on wood, all my Apple stuff is working okay.
Hmm.
So,
So I tote them with me when I travel now because I can
yep.
make phone calls on them and the quality's good. I don't have
Yep.
any lag. It's as good as my Blue Parrot is as far as quality goes, and I don't have this great big headset.
You don't look like a trucker.
Don't look like a trucker.
All right. Well, what else we got to talk about? 'Cause I have a movie that I'm going to need to get to
Got a
soon.
movie. I'll tell you a quick adventure. Um, I get up at 4 o'clock, go do CrossFit.
Thank you, David Goggins.
Yeah. Get up at 4. CrossFit is at 5. It takes about 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes to get ready. So we get there about 4:35, 4:40, and I get to do about 20 minutes of stretching before class
Mhm.
because I'm old. I mean, I need
Because
to.
you're smart.
I'm smart. Yeah. So one morning, my Ashlyn and I were driving to the gym, and we're
Mhm.
driving to the entrance of our subdivision, and there is a person on the sidewalk with a flashlight. You can see it's like pointing down and you're moving. I'm like, sometimes people get out and run early in the morning, and I'm like, well, maybe it's a runner, maybe it's somebody having problems,
Mhm.
maybe it's a crook. I don't know. So I get closer, and because there's a stop sign and then there's the main road, and about half the distance between my stop sign and the main road, they pull the flashlight up in my face. I mean, it's no longer like pointing at the ground. So it's pointing at my car because I'm driving that old crappy Nissan at that point because it was still running.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, okay, this is a red flag. I'm
Yep.
not stopping for this person. I mean,
Yep.
if they're in trouble, I'm gonna call the police and let them know, hey, there's a
Sure.
person here on the side of the road that's having a problem, but I'm not stopping because it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and this
Yep.
behavior is not not something I'm liking. So they're on the side of the road and they're waving the light at me, and I go past, I kind of curve away from them, and then get ready to make the turn, and the guy starts yelling, "Hey, hey!" And I look, and I do a check to the left, check to the right before I go out on the main road so I don't get hit by a car. And I look
Mhm.
to my left, and there are 2 police cruisers right there. I'm like, oh, these are
Oops.
cops. So I stopped, and he came up. He's like, well, you didn't stop. I said, dude, I couldn't see you. He said, well,
Mhm.
that was kind of the point. I was like,
It's kind
no.
of the point.
Yeah. At 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to stop for just some Joe, especially one shining the light in my eyes and I can't see. But once I saw the police cruisers and then he came up beside me, he was in uniform, we just put the car in park and gave him ID. So, well, there've been some break-ins in the cars, and we're just taking IDs to make sure you live here. I'm like, that's fine, but
Mhm.
it's like, that if I had not stopped, well, if I hadn't seen their police cruisers, I would
Mhm.
I would not have stopped. I mean, even
Yeah.
if they were in uniform, I wouldn't have stopped, because I'm like, 2 guys in uniform, no car, no, I'm out of here.
Yep. Safety first.
Yeah, but they didn't make a big deal out of it. But it would have been a big deal if I had gone on past them and then they had to chase me down. That would have been a bad morning.
We might have a different tone to the show today.
Your time's up, sir.
Click call from Adam. And his Folsom Prison. Do you accept the charges? All right.
So you brought us in. Let me take us out. Where's our script? Oh, here it is. Listener, we do want your feedback. If you'd like to discuss a particular topic, you can drop us a line at www.blurringthelinespodcast.com. We've taken away comments since we've gotten tons and tons of spam there, but you can still send us a direct message from there. And then if you'd like to learn more about us, you can find Peter at Paradigm Consulting Co LLC, ParadigmCC.com, YogaWithPeter.com, FriendsWithBrews.com, and the Mastodon says at Nikolaidis at infosec.exchange. You can find me at Sublime Computer Services, SublimeComp.com, RRLavenderFarm.com, and at SublimeComp on the Twitter.
And also occasionally on FriendsWithBrews.com.
Yes, I have an upcoming episode.
I believe it's out, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is. So I'm going to listen to this on my way to the movie theater.
Nice. Well,
on that note, I think we should
film.
push. Yes, I shall. But first, let's push the big red button.